Hey guys, welcome back to Ben Talk Sports. So a few days ago, I saw that Patrick Mahomes of the NFL just signed the richest contract in sports history with a 10-year, $503 million contract. Well, first of all, that is a crazy amount of money. Secondly, that had me thinking, who has signed the richest contract in NBA history? Now, after some research, I found that some of them were actually pretty surprising to me. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 richest contracts ever signed in the NBA. So, without further ado, let's begin. Starting off the list at number 5, Tobias Harris, 5 years, $180 million. In the 2018-19 NBA season, Harris was a borderline all-star player for the Los Angeles Clippers. But in a mid-season trade, the Clippers sent Harris to the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Sixers GM Elton Brand said in an interview, and I quote, "Tobias is one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA and possesses an innate ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor." So the 76ers were definitely going all in for a championship that season. But unfortunately for them, Kawhi Leonard hit one of the clutchest shots in NBA history to send them home. In that offseason, Jimmy Butler decided to take his talent to South Beach. Not wanting to lose both their midseason acquisitions, the 76ers signed Harris to a max contract worth $180 million over 5 years. Now this is good for Harris as he's finally getting paid big bucks in a stable environment, but it was definitely a questionable decision by the 76ers front office, as they now have 3 max contract players on their team, Harris, Embiid, and Simmons, and have little room for change. So we'll see how this all turns out. At number 4, Klay Thompson, 5 years, $190 million. One half of the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson, came off an all-star season where he averaged 21.5 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.4 assists, and made all defensive second team. Unfortunately for Thompson, he would tear his ACL in the NBA Finals, so it was up in the air to if the Warriors were going to re-sign him, as up to that point, Kevin Durant still hasn't announced his decision to go to Brooklyn. But after getting snubbed off the All-NBA third team, Thompson wasn't eligible for a Supermax contract, but he was still eligible for a regular max contract. So on July 10th, the Warriors signed him to a max contract worth $190 million over 5 years. We have still yet to see what Thompson's impact will be as he set out the entire 2019-20 NBA season. But hopefully, he'll return and live up to that contract. At number 3, Stephen Curry, 5 years, $201 million. After talking about Klay Thompson, now let's take a look at the other half of the Splash Brothers, Stephen Curry. Curry has been with the Warriors ever since he was drafted back in 2009. The 2-time MVP was an instrumental part of the Warriors dynasty. Before Curry signed what at that point was the richest contract in NBA history at $201 million over 5 years, Curry was pretty underpaid in his entire career, as he had multiple ankle injuries early on. So this contract was definitely well deserved. He went from being paid just $11 million a year to getting paid $40 million a year. At number 2, Russell Westbrook, 5 years, $205 million. After an amazing MVP season where he averaged a triple-double for the first time in 55 years, Westbrook was rewarded with a Supermax 5-year, $205 million contract. In that same offseason, the Thunder also acquired All-Stars Paul George and Carmelo Anthony in hopes of forming a super team to dethrone the Warriors. But we all know how that turned out. Carmelo played pretty bad that entire season and took a lot of the blame, and was then traded to Houston. After Paul George signed an extension with the Thunder, people actually thought Westbrook and PG were going to be on the Thunder for a really long time. But unfortunately, the next season, they lost yet again in the first round on a 37-foot buzzer beater from Damian Lillard, and Paul George left in free agency that season to go to the Clippers. Shortly after that, Westbrook would be traded to Houston to pair up with James Harden. Speaking of Harden, that brings us to number 1 on this list, James Harden, 6 years, $228 million. Just 1 week after Stephen Curry signed the richest contract in NBA history, the MVP runner-up that season, James Harden, agreed to a 6-year, $228 million contract. Now, personally, I think this is a win for both Harden and the Rockets. Harden will have guaranteed an insane amount of money for 6 years, but it's also good for the Rockets as well, as they locked up their franchise player until the 2022-2023 season. Try saying that 5 times faster. Anyway, in the summer of 2019, Westbrook would join Harden on the Rockets, and with the season resuming in a couple of weeks, maybe the Rockets will have a chance of winning it all this season. So that's the list of the top 5 richest contracts ever signed in NBA history. Please let me know in the comment section, did any of these contracts shock you? Any of you guys have any video ideas you would like me to do? Also let me know. So on that note, thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, smash that like button and subscribe as I upload new videos every single week. And thanks for watching.